In Conversation with Terry Shepard, award-winning broadcaster, narrator, and author. A deep dive into the writer's craft with the artists and support systems who create the stories we love.
Thanks, Lisa. I met Roxie Key at the very first Capital Crimes Conference in Covent Garden, London. At the time, we were both working on our first manuscripts. For Roxie, full-time copywriter for a global brand and an avid reader of crime fiction, that manuscript became her first hit novel, Deadly Spark, just released and taking the UK by storm. In addition to giving birth to a great book, Roxie is also the mother of the world's most energetic toddler. Roxie Key, welcome to the conversation.
Hey, it's great to see you.
Give the world a synopsis of The Deadly Spark.
The Deadly Spark is a blend of psychological suspense and police procedural, and that's because I couldn't decide on one of the two genres. It's set in two places in the UK, Brighton and Plockton, which is in the Scottish Highlands. And it follows the story of Eve Starling, who's a detective, and she's investigating a fatal arson attack. Flashbacks into her past reveal the reason why she struggles so much with this particular case. And then at the same time, we've got another character story unfolding alongside Eve's. Anya Fernsby, who is the girlfriend of the woman who died in the arson attack. She threw herself off the cliffs at Seaford Head that same night, and whether it's grief or guilt is Eve Starling's job to decide.
How did you pick the locations?
So Brighton is like my favourite place in the UK. I love it. It's just such a colourful place. It's got there's so many different places within Brighton. You've got the marina, the beach, the shops. It's just lots of interesting people. It's a very diverse place. It's way more interesting than my hometown. And Plockton, I wanted somewhere for my character Anya to escape to that was really, really far away. So I went really north, and I was just looking at places in the Scottish Highlands, really, and I just love the sound of Plockton. So
this place you've described so brilliantly in Scotland is a place you've never been?
No, I had planned a trip, then we had lockdown, and then I had a baby, and I just haven't made it work. But I've walked around it a lot on Google Maps, on Street View, and it looks amazing. I'd love to go there.
I remember reading a very early draft of what became The Deadly Spark. How did that evolve into the final version?
Oh, it's changed so much. I can't actually remember the version that you read, but I've got obviously the version that I first started pitching to agents. Then when a publisher picked it up, I worked on it with an editor. We changed a lot, although I'd say the main characters and the motivations, the crime, the twist, all of that stuff's still there. So the essence of the story is the same. Then we took out like one of the big fires. There were too many fires. We removed several characters, added several characters in. I'm struggling to even remember that first draft, and I don't think I ever wanted to do the light of day again.
How many editors laid eyes on the manuscript?
Well, I have 3 different editors. I had my first editor, Finn Cotton, who's the one that bought the rights to the book. Then he moved from HQ to, I think it was Transworld. Then I had a wonderful editor called Becky, who had been working alongside Finn on the book, and so she was really immersed in the book anyway. And then she had a baby, so she went on maternity leave. So then Kat took over, who is my current editor. So they've had like 3 different people's really in-depth thoughts and feelings and opinions on this book, which has actually been great because I've had all these different perspectives, which has only made it stronger, really.
Roxie Key is our guest. Her first novel is The Deadly Spark, and her website is roxiekey.com. You are a true Renaissance woman. You create words that sell some of the world's most important brands. You have been a visual artist, and now you've conquered the complex path to publication. How do you juggle so many roles?
When I stopped painting a couple of years ago, I was just taking up a lot of my time. When stuff started happening with the writing, I had to pick a side. So yeah, writing is the main thing. Obviously, I have my day job, copywriting. My child doesn't sleep, so I'm tired a lot of the time. So I don't know what I'm running on. A lot of coffee and chocolate, I think. Yeah, I think it's just about trying to squeeze things into the gaps in your day. When do I even write? Sometimes I get up early. Sometimes I'm staying up quite late. If I've got 10 minutes, half an hour between things, if my toddler's napping, I use the notes app on my phone quite a lot, and then WhatsApp them to myself and pick them up on my laptop. Yeah, it's a lot of picking up bits and pieces and stitched it together at the moment. But when I have my big planning days, that's when my wonderful in-laws step in and take Callie for the day, and I will just write as much as I can. Yeah, get my plotting and my planning down, because that's the stuff that takes the time for me.
When did you start writing?
Well, I was writing stories from a really young age. I've talked about this in quite a few interviews now, but my cats have superhero powers. That's where I sort of started. And then when I went to university and studied creative writing, I did loads of different things there, and I had it in my head I was going to write children's novels, like big epic fantasy stories. But to be honest, I just don't think I've got the right kind of mindset to write something like that. And then it wasn't until I started reading crime, and I was like, okay, this is what I need. This is the one. And then that's when it clicked and started. I think I learned a lot from reading other authors. The copywriting was just sort of fell into that, really, and I really enjoy it. It's a lot shorter, although I do tend to write more than I need to and have to trim it back. Yeah, that's so different. I'm just doing two completely different types of writing at once.
How did you get into the marketing business?
I started working in a shop that sold baby products, and I started doing their social media marketing, which involved an element of writing there. Then that kind of led me into a job at a beauty company where I was doing much more writing and more marketing, which then got me into Avon, where I work now, into the marketing team. And then after a few years, I kind of worked my way into the copywriting team. So I just do the copywriting now and not the marketing. So there's a lot of things leading into other things and being in the right place at the right time.
Your protagonist in The Deadly Spark, Detective Constable Eve Starling, is a complex character. How did you build her?
I really wanted to write a strong female lead who was really sensitive, intelligent, but also a little bit hot-tempered. I had different people in mind that were my inspirations. There are a couple of fictional detectives from TV. I don't know if these series have made their way over to your side of the world, but there's a series that I love called Unforgotten. It was a detective in there. DCI Cassie Stewart, who was an absolutely brilliant character. And then Scott and Bailey, which is a series set in Manchester, and Rachel Bailey, absolutely love her. So I sort of had these two women, these strong women, kind of like started by blending them together a little bit. And then as I wrote the story, Eve kind of took off as her own person.
You've earned a ton of 5-star ratings on Amazon. What do your fans like best about The Deadly Spark?
A lot of people have said they really like Eve. They want to see more from her, which is great news for me because I want to write more of her. And then like most people like the twist, although one or two didn't. But hey, it's subjective. What can I say? I think most people seem to like the structure of the story with the dual narrative and the going back and forth, past and present, and things like that. Yeah, I think a lot of people said it's like really easy to read, which is exactly what I was going for. Just something that was a real easy read you could take on holiday and just get sucked in, and as like a page turner. And from the comments, that's what people seem to think. So I'm really happy with that because that's the kind of book I like to read. I love a book where there's different people talking, different perspectives, different timelines. It's just so interesting. It keeps you on your toes. And I think it makes the book a page turner because you want to know what you get to the end of a chapter and you're like, oh, what's going to happen next? But then you're in another character's head, and then I want to know what happens to them, but I've got to keep reading to find out what happens to that character. So you kind of just like find yourself 100 pages in thinking, I was supposed to go to bed an hour ago.
And now The Deadly Spark is an audiobook. What was it like to hear someone else read your words?
It was like, I think it's the bit I was looking forward to the most because it's probably the closest I'll get to anyone acting out my book. I don't think it's going to make it onto Netflix anytime soon. So for me, it's like hearing it coming from someone else's mouth, not in my head. It was the first time I'd heard how someone else interpreted it. And I was quite anxious. I thought, what if it doesn't sound right? Or what if it's not brought to life the way that I imagined? But honestly, the narrator's called Imogen Wild. I was given a selection of 3 narrators, and I just absolutely fell in love with her voice. I just thought she is perfect. All the regional accents in my book, which I didn't know I had so many until I heard it being spoken. She just absolutely nails them. She does such a good job. It's just, I couldn't stop listening to it. She's brilliant.
We're in conversation with Roxie Key talking about her first novel, The Deadly Spark. Her website is roxiekey.com. Writing is a craft made up of moments of incredible highs and incredible stress. Why do you do it?
Because I couldn't not write. I don't know if that sounds cheesy or corny, but I just feel like something would be missing if I wasn't doing it. I don't know. Who knows if I'll ever be able to do this as a full-time job, and it causes me so much stress as well, yet I don't stop. So there's got to be something in that. I just love doing it and putting myself through it.
What's next? Will Eve Starling return?
The time will tell. And the more reviews that people give me, the more chance I think I might have. The demand is there.
Oh, I think the demand is definitely there. How can people learn more about Roxie Key?
So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, X, the main ones, and Threads as well. And yeah, I have a newsletter. There's a widget on my website. People can message me through there as well. So anywhere really that people want to talk to me, I will respond.
The book is The Deadly Spark, written by our guest today, Roxie Key. You can find the digital and audiobook versions both in the UK and the US. The print version is available in the UK only for now and should appear here on this side of the pond early next year. Roxie, thanks so much for the conversation.
Thank you so much for having me.
In Conversation with Terry Shepard is a copyrighted presentation. All rights reserved. I'm Lisa Davis. Join Terry Shepard next time in Conversation.